Oh. All right, there we go. That's a nice one. Crazy fish, about 2.5 pounds. So had one follow me out on that dock. Thought I had one do something weird over there. So I really slowed down. I'm gonna get this fish back in the water. That's a nice solid fresh fish just coming off the lake. Probably 2.5 pounder. Butterball. These aren't the first docks I've fished today. So I've been fishing down this stretch, haven't had any bites. That one right there told me this could be where they're coming. So 2 bites right in there. I think we found a pretty good little zone. So we're gonna make a few more pitches at this dock. See what we can do. I really felt like there was something going on in here. I'm just fishing 1/2 ounce Arky style flipping jig. Took me a little while to relocate, or locate rather, where these fish are at. Now hopefully we can get another bite. And I'll tell you, with this jig, your landing percentage should be great. So I got a 7'9" extra heavy flipping stick, 25-pound fluorocarbon, a 1/2 ounce jig, big salty chunk on there, high speed reel, big handle. And the whole key is getting that jig underneath that dock. And believe it or not, a 1/2 ounce jig will be easier to skip than a 3/8. And the reason I'm flipping the 1/2 is because we got water that's high 50s. So I like that 3/8 when that water's below 55. And then once we get above 55, that really puts those fish in a feeding mood. That quicker fall with that 1/2 ounce. I can just be more efficient, easier to fish with all this wind, easier to skip, easier to detect bites. Gets to the bottom quicker so I can fish faster. Now it's all about figuring out the pattern within the pattern. So I can catch some fish on docks. Now let's figure out where they're at. Did I just find one small stretch, one or two good docks? Can I run this all over the lake? Those are the questions that I'm typically asking. But the biggest thing about the jig, when you detect that bite, and a lot of times it's just heavy, you get enough bites on it, you'll know the difference between basically some kind of muck on the bottom or wood, most of the time. Not always. Some type of grass. You'll feel a little bit of that side-to-side movement. But when you feel that, just start turning your reel. Reel. You can still slackline hook set. A lot of guys do that. My biggest thing is just start turning the reel handle and swing. And typically with a jig, your hookup percentage is way better than with a Texas rig. I need this heavier action rod to really put that bait where I want with all this wind. Just easier to manage this bait, in my opinion, with this stiffer rod. I'm making all underhand casts, so I like the longer rod. And to be honest, this is kind of an old dog, new tricks scenario. I've been flipping with this 8-foot, 7'9" rod for going on almost 15 years now. So I learned how to flip with a 7-foot medium heavy rod. But about 15 years ago, somebody sold me an 8-foot flipping stick, and that's been it. Now, I did say I had a fish on the other side follow my jig back to the boat. Now, there's two trains of thought with that. Either one, you need to be fishing a jig at that speed that you entice that bass and he came out. Or you need to be fishing slower. You didn't leave that bait in there long enough. He didn't get enough time to react to it. Therefore, you're fishing too fast. Now, obviously, that's two different ends of the spectrum when we get into the train of thought. I don't really know what to believe. You know, I've heard both opinions from the same expert, you know, and I don't really know. I don't know if you can actually have a good opinion on that with with the brain of a fish, each fish being an individual. I don't know. I don't know if you have to know. Sometimes fish just follow it. What you want to do is when you see one, and as long as you're not turning the handle of your reel too fast, you can usually stop it and they'll eat it. My problem is I have the bait back to the boat before the fish is anywhere near it. And that's usually when I see it, just because I'm kind of geared myself towards when I don't think there's a fish there, I reel it in as fast as I can just to be more efficient. Now, there's been a lot of times in my life where that's deterred me from a bite or two, so I don't really know what to tell you on that either. Just something I saw somebody do a long time ago, so that's what I do. And then if I'm not paying attention, it comes back to haunt me. Now, this is the little general area where I got that bite, so I'm really expecting another bite right in this part of the dock. I really have no idea how many bites I should be getting doing this. Should this be one bite every hour? When I get around a dock that has one fish on it, should I be able to catch 3 or 4? Those are all answers that I'll probably be able to answer after I get off the water today. I really don't know. I was positive, almost positive, that I had a bite right on the other side of that post earlier. There are some carp in here. So a lot of times you will land your bait right on the back of a carp. Your line might come over the side of a carp. It moves. It feels a lot like a bite. However, I'm going to really saturate this part of the dock because this is where I